Hello and welcome to the 2014 Professional Development Modules. My name is Avi Stamen and I will be the facilitator for the Israel Education in the 21st Century module, where we will explore some of the major issues of Israel education in the North American day school setting. I would like to start off by welcoming you to the course and encouraging you to be in touch with me for any questions or issues that may come up throughout the duration of the course. You can find my email here on the screen as well as on the Moodle online. Now, I also want to encourage you to check out the syllabus. It goes through the entire curriculum of the course, as well as some helpful links which can help you in your classroom. One word of introduction before we get into Israel education as a topic itself is the idea of building a new curriculum. Israel education, unlike the maths and sciences and English, is not a curriculum that has been explored in depth until the last 10-20 years. What I mean by that is that people have always dealt with education relating to Israel in different forms, in different settings, and we will explore some of those projects and programs that have been done in the past. However, it has never been studied as a topic in and of itself. Therefore, we have a very exciting opportunity here to really try and explore what Israel education is, how it is formed, and how it can be used in the classroom. The first issue that I would like to discuss with you today is really the question of what is Israel education. As you can see in the photograph, there are a number of different definitions for Israel education of ways that people have dealt with teaching about Israel in the past, whether that be Israeli history, discovering some of the roots of Zionism and trying to understand where they come from. There are trips to Israel whereby class trips, whether it be in middle school or high school, decide to make an organized trip and take their students to Israel. Sometimes they meet with Israelis there. Sometimes they have different tiyulim and other activities. Other people might define Israel education as the Hebrew alphabet or the Hebrew language. And that means that our students should know how to speak Hebrew, how to read Hebrew, how to understand Hebrew, the important texts in the Jewish canon that we would like our students to be able to understand not only in the classroom but on their own. Another component is the Israel engagement, Israel advocacy. There's a picture here of the Israel Day Parade. That's one expression of ways that American Jewry connects with Israel in the greater sense. So all of these things can be incorporated as Israel education. There's a lot more that is not on that page, that is not on this page, that can also be included. So let's see if we can find one definition which can try and encapsulate some of the different messages that are being shown here. Alex Pomson, Howie Dietcher, and Michal Muscat-Varkan have defined Israel education in the following way. There are three different components to Israel education in their view, and we'll go through it quickly. Israel education is, we believe, a multi-dimensional activity that involves the nurture of one, an appreciation of Israel's central place in Judaism and Jewish life, two, an understanding of the origins of the state of Israel and its contemporary experience, and three, meaningful lifelong relationships with the state and people of Israel. Now, in this definition is very broad, very inclusive, and they try and capture a number of different components. And we'll see that sometimes that can make for a tricky these can bring up a number of different issues. But let's go through quickly. An appreciation of Israel's central place in Judaism and Jewish life. So here, Pomson, Dietcher, and Muscat-Varkan try to connect between Judaism and Israel, and trying to understand that Israel is not simply another country in the Middle East, but rather is connected to the daily Jewish life of the students. And as I'm sure you know, that is not something that is necessarily the easiest message to bring across, and we'll get into that in the second week of the course. Number two is an understanding of the origins of the state of Israel and its contemporary experience. This goes through the history of Israel as well as some of the major issues that affect Israel today, whether that be the Middle East peace process or any other issues which Israelis find to be important. Number 3 is meaningful lifelong relationships with the state and people of Israel. This is Israel engagement. This is how people can connect their students to Israel in a meaningful way. Now, I just want to, once we have seen this definition for Israel education, we need to bring up some of the major issues that come up whenever we talk about Israel education. And I've split this in my mind up into 2 different categories. One are the inherent issues, and another group of issues are the pragmatic issues. Included in the inherent issues, and this is in no way an exhaustive list, is Israel education a new subject, or is it an adaptation or reconfiguration of topics which already exist in our current school system? What core curriculum does Israel education include? What is Israel education as compared to Israel engagement or advocacy? These are all questions which can help us define what is Israel education in our classroom. Now, those are inherent issues to trying to define what Israel education is. There are also pragmatic issues. For example, where does this study take place? Is this something that happens in the classroom? Is this something that happens in an informal setting? These are all things that hopefully we will at least touch on throughout the duration of the course. Now, when we continue on, like I mentioned, one of the major issues that come up is the differentiation between advocacy and education. That means that many of the programs that are run in our schools are really much more geared toward advocacy than they are towards education. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that there are many programs that are set up, especially in the older grades, to try and give students the tools to speak up for Israel on campus, to try and make their voices known, to try and show the other side to what can be perceived as a skewed portrayal of the state of Israel and its actions. And it's important to understand that while advocacy has a tremendous impact and is tremendously important, it's not education. Education is something which challenges students to think about the issues, challenges them to try and understand where they're coming from, and where they're trying to go. Now, Bethany Horowitz explains the difference between Israel education and Israel advocacy as follows. Israel education can be contrasted with both Israel advocacy training and Israel studies. Advocacy training involves efforts to prepare people, mostly college age or late high school age, primarily for political argumentation in defense of Israel, carried out especially on campus. Israel studies differ from Israel education in that its focus is to deepen and expand knowledge about Israel, remaining dispassionate about the affinity of the learner toward Israel. Because Israel education begins in childhood and is part of the enterprise of Jewish education, it is the broadest and most basic of these various efforts. Now, I'm not expecting for you to take Bethany Horowitz's definition as is. I assume that this will arouse certain feelings and thoughts, and you'll be able to give expression to those later on in some of the activities that are going to be had. That concludes our lesson for week 1. I ask you now to go back to the Moodle, and you can watch a few short clips about different forms of Israel advocacy and education. There are 2 different clips from different programs that are already being run in the Jewish North American world, and to try and ask yourself, what is advocacy and what is education? And help define these terms for yourself in your own mind. After that, I'll ask you to go and check out some of the articles that are posted, and then complete your assignment for week 1. So thank you very much, and I wish you best of luck and encourage you to be in touch with me for any issues or thoughts or challenges or questions that you may have.